Hey people, I got sidetracked and I ran into this, and it's this word, the AM. It comes up 3 times in this line, as it means whether or. And the last movie I did, I seen it, and it comes up. They say it means mother, and it just has different vowel points under here. And I showed how the different readings do turn it into mama or mom or just them. And from the story, they'll tell you, that in this original Bible, they say it was written like this, and there was no vowel points, So how would you know if it's a or mother? So in order to put this in context, I'm going to read this last line. And the end of this line has a bunch of directional markings, so it reads several different ways. If you're reading, the top markings, it has none except this. And so it's all infinite in Lord's thee. All infinite in Lord's thee. And this tab comes up 32 times. They'll say it's the world most of the time. And so it wouldn't fit here, the world, earth. So they change it to the whole. And so you see, the word alerts, alerts thee. And that's where your word blurts. He done blurted it out, blurts. All infinite blurts. It untold the whole face of the earth. So this am comes up these 3 times, and it's spaced with words that begin with L every time. And this L is of. It's where they got this for from. It's better read as L, and M. I am of Sabbath. And M of arch of. M of chassis emits issue. The AE here is ES, and then a U issue emits issue. And of chassis emits issue. Of chassis means not supposed to emit issue. And that would be where your word GMO come from. Right now there's laws all around the world that farmers can't plant heritage seeds, and they have to plant GMOs. And these GMOs, they're chassid, and they don't emit issue. You can't grow corn and replant that seed. You're not going to get a good corn back. The seed is chassid, what that means. The chassid emits issue. It means an unfertile seed. And so when you read it with these directional markings, it change up a little bit more. And M dibs, the TH and the D change up. And, M dibs, M put claims on. M dibs and less, and then in, the less in. And then the TH comes back and reads with this S here, little hook underneath. And M dibs the less in this bottom. The bottom, what share, that's the earth, and the bottom would share. Down in the valleys is where you plant. And the bottom would share alerts to, alerts you, blurts it out. And the bottom would share alerts to the dish backwards, dish of the chassid emits issue. And M dibs of sieve, this bottom, what share alerts to the dish of chassid emits issue. This bottom of share is a valley. It's usually a fertile valley, the bottom of the share. And it's alerting to them, and it's letting them know that it's the dish of chassid emits. It's not putting out. So this AM, it doesn't mean or, whether. They'll give it many meanings, conditional clauses of possible situations, of impossible situations, opposite meanings. But it's just the AM. Sometimes it's read backwards or forwards. Sometimes it's read backwards. Sometimes it's read as an A. Sometimes read as 2 A's and an M, or OOM. And so when they said it meant mother, it didn't mean mother, it just means them. What offereth them the yield, and what offered them the yield was the mother. So they give the earth about 60 different spellings here, and that's what I was looking at when I run into this. And it's not so much the land, but his own land. He is the Lord, the Lord's too. He is the Lord of that piece of land, the Lord's too. And you see down here in Egypt, the Lord's the Sharon, the Lord's Sharon. And that's where, all the misery was going on, and the mystery, and, the sharecropping, 50% sharecropping is what it says was going on down there. And that's why I run into this, to his own land, the Lord's too. The Lord's of, to his own land. So this is the word I was looking at when I ran into that. And they say it's of his own children killed, or of his God they came forth, of his own bowels, or the temple of his God, the offspring of his own there. And this word only comes up one time, but the only other place I see a word similar to this, the Itsy's, means spider eggs, or Itsy. And it's and from Itsy, and from the spider eggs. You don't see it in this Bible. It's spelled two different ways, but here, it's in from the spider egg of. And so it's talking about what comes out of a spider egg, but there's something they didn't want you to know. And as soon as I started reading this, I knew this was it. If you just ignore all the points and just read, why, who, and who sail, who sent out, who sail you, the hemlock, the hemlock wicked, W-I-K-E-D, the wicked, and who sail you, hemlock wicked, the call, and then backwards, the caller of, and Gabriel, the one that brings news of a new birth is Gabriel, the mighty man of valor, and the caller of Gabriel. And a leader, is when guide, and a leader and a captain, when guide, assure, in men, and then them like, of the king. I was reading with that last em, them like, in men, them like. The kings were elected, they have to be liked, and them like assure, the vision, V-I-S-N, in vision, and assure of vision, and then invest upon them, in the vision invest upon them, alerts to wive, in it all of who, amidst ya gemmo, the gemoi juice from, amidst you the gemmo juice from, and those who came forth from his offspring there. And when you read it with lower markings, it's the same word for, in the Greek, is the son. You can see it reads different over here, it ends with a vav, and it's amidst of, A-V, amidst of, from the, what come out of a spider egg, moi, my, J-U-S, my juice from. The pillow, the pillow, and struck him down, put him to sleep. The pillow bear in, to put you to sleep. The pillow bear in. So that was my first time reading over this. But the last time I run into this, the hemlock, it was talking about the broom ride. And I got a folder called the broom ride, I think, the witch's broom ride, and talks more about that. But it pretty much explains it all in here again. Who sail, who gone on a trip, who sail you, hemlock. And so they would put the hemlock in the other end. They would boof it, or in the Greek you would call it to fagest, to eat it from the other end. And who sail you, hemlock, the wicked, the W-I-K-H-D, W-I-K-E-D, the wicked color of Gabriel, the wicked color of Gabriel. And so Gabriel, has to do with a birth, a new birth. He brings message of a new birth. And that's what when the witches would use it, they would call it a new birth. It would be their born again. And they would trip out and go on this ride and see all kind of things. And when guide to serve the hen, hen bang, the hen milk, as where vision invest upon 'em lords of wife. And so wife, this is wife is spelled with a Q, H, or a V-A-V-E. It's like W-I-V-E. And it means the who in power, the wife. And by to live, L-E-I-V. By to live. And by to live 'em, Itsy of. By to live 'em, the spiders of my juice. My juice from the pillow baron. From my juice, the pillow baron. You done drank some of my hemlock and now you gone to sleep. You're dreaming. So this word hen, H-N-E, this ancient word for poison was the hen, and serve 'em hen, the hen milk, the poison juice. As where vision invest upon 'em, lurts of wife. And so they got this, and when he had gone backwards, this is wife, and this is where this return actually ought to be. And it's talking about, the sun. She swallows up the sun every night, and it goes through and it comes out in the morning at the end of the wife. And hen milk as where vision invest upon 'em, alerts of wife, in it alive, and from Itsy of moi juicem. And so this Itsy, it's actually used for snake eggs too. Anything of the Itsy, snake eggs. The 6 different words are just used one time, but that's what they have in common is the IXI, the BIXI, the Bitsy's. And from the Itsy of my juice from the pillow baron. So I can see I'm going to have to look into this a little more. And what I was really wanting to get into this movie, I'm going to have to make it in a separate movie because it's going to get long. But I was looking at Isaac, and not just Isaac, but this 20 times it comes up, and it starts with an L. And I found a pattern in here. How this 20 times it comes up 12 times one certain way. It doesn't come up anywhere else like that. But the last time it's used in Genesis like this, it's promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And then for the next 11 times, this is the way it comes up. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And it's all in the Torah, in the first 5 books. And you see it, on the first page of the book of Deuteronomy. And where I ran into it was the last book of Deuteronomy here. And, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And so usually it'll be, the word before this will be fathers, and it'll come up many different ways. And you see how all these words start with this L here, and it pretty much means this L is reading with the last word, and whatever the last word was, it come with this L. And then this is the of, tickle of remelixa, a remedy and an elixir. A remelixir is a cure. Abraham and Isaac is the cure. And of a tickle of a remelixir, fully, F-U-L-Y, the fully of in, or the full yoke in, the joke inlet. And so I believe this will tell off a lot. I'm going to look into this, and you can see how the other ways that they spell your father, it'll change up. And you can see here, where it's in the servants. The servants and the fathers are very similar. It's, love dick, O-V-D-I-K. And a dick, is in the control and command, the dictator. The love dick isn't a servant. He loves to tell the servants what to do. Or the love tick and the love dick. And sometimes, it's coming from the bottle of Remelika full yoke in. The Remelika full yoke in. So I'm gonna look more into them spiders, and I'm gonna get a movie on this too. I just surely won't have time enough to put it in this one before my machine locks up. So I'm gonna cut this off here. Good day.